Hello, and welcome to Unit 9, Episode 2 of Fisher's Class Notes. Today we're going to be talking about fighting World War II. Our vocabulary: the Axis powers, that's Germany, Japan, and Italy. The Allied powers, Great Britain, France, USA, and USSR, Soviet Union. We're going to talk about fascism, totalitarianism, blitzkrieg, and a little bit about kamikaze warfare. I want you to understand three things by the end of this episode. One, fascism, government taking total control, promised its people in Italy and Germany that they were going to make them powerful again. Two, World War II was not just fought in Europe. We always think of, World War II, Nazis, and Hitler. It was also fought in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific Islands. And three, World War II really began when China invaded Manchuria in 1931. I know I told you in the last episode, and most tests, and usually you're going to be taught, that it started when Germany invaded Poland in 1939, but really it started in 1931 when Japan invaded Manchuria. Let's take a look at our timeline. 1929, we got worldwide Great Depression. That's what causes a lot of these problems. So many people starving in Germany, in Japan. People are hungry, people are angry, people want change. 1931, Japan invaded Manchuria. 1933, Hitler was appointed chancellor and then became head of the, his Nazi party dominated and became a dictator. 1937, Japan invaded China and the rape of Nanking, which was then the capital of China. 1939, Germany invaded Poland. That's when most people say World War II started. 1940, Germany defeated France. And so there was just the resistance led by Charles de Gaulle. 1941, Germany invaded USSR. So stupid, because of course they're the ones who eventually defeat Germany mostly. And so USSR joins the Allied powers. We become frenemies with them. 1941, Japan does the same stupid thing to Hawaii, Pearl Harbor. Now, we were already preparing for war. We had already started enlisting and having a draft of U.S. soldiers, which we'll learn about. So we were ready for war, and Japan thought maybe they can try and scare us a little bit to stay neutral, but that absolutely didn't happen, and we joined the Allied powers. Here's actually a quote from, believe it or not, the naval commander of the Japanese Navy, that led this strike, and he knew it was not a great idea. A military man can scarcely pride himself on having smitten or defeated a sleeping enemy. Angered and outraged, the USA, he says will soon launch a counterattack. He knew that this was going to be, quote-unquote, waking a sleeping giant. So, the rise of militarism and extreme nationalism. We know that nationalism led to World War I, but it still was around that extreme pride in your own, quote-unquote, race, thinking you're better than others almost. Germany and Japan became very military-focused after the Great Depression to try and gain power again. Fascism was growing in Germany and Italy. There are three things that really outline or define fascism. One, power in one political party, often just really one supreme leader. Two, you're punished for questioning your government. You're supposed to just automatically go along with what your government says. And three, secret police terrorizing citizens. The Japanese, although they were not a fascist government, the military really was in control. The emperor was sort of not really in control anymore, and they were also taught to not question the empire. Germany expanded in Europe really for farming land to feed people. Japan wanted coal and iron from Manchuria and other raw materials from China, and Italy wanted power and territory in the Mediterranean and they actually invaded Ethiopia in 1936, again before Germany invaded Poland. The European front, that's what we normally think of when we think of World War II. Germany dominated with blitzkrieg, those raids of troops, tanks, quick plane attacks, lightning war. Poland, Norway, Netherlands, and France were taken within 9 months, so it was very successful in the beginning of the war until the Allied powers learned how to counterattack. Keep calm and carry on. I know you guys see those on t-shirts nowadays, but this started. Great Britain was trying to calm its citizens Keep calm, carry on, even though these lightning raids would happen and, you don't know if you're going to die. Lots of people did. Hitler ignored the Non-Aggression Pact, as we know, and invaded the USSR, which made them our ally in 1941. 1942, Battle of Stalingrad, where he's trying to further invade the Soviet Union, and he's defeated. This is a major turning point in the war, and the Soviets are the ones to bring it about. 1942, Soviet USSR defeated Germany. Actually, that should be, that should be 1943 is when they actually defeated them. Hitler was so humiliated by this, he tried to hide it from the German people. 1945, it's the Soviets who capture Berlin. So clearly he awoken to sleeping giant there. So what about Mussolini in Italy? Mussolini, elected Prime Minister of Italy in 1922, makes himself a fascist dictator. Isn't that just very convenient that he does this for himself, makes himself supreme leader? 1940, he sides with Germany because he thinks that's going to be the best way to get land in Africa. 1943, Allied powers invade Italy. Mussolini is overthrown. He escaped to German forces. Italy actually surrendered, but Germany controlled Italy still. 1945, Germany defeated. Mussolini is executed with no trial. And then finally, we've got the Pacific Front. Pacific Front are our war with Japan. Japan invaded Manchuria in 1931. 1937, invaded China. The rape of Nanking. 300,000+ women, children, men. I mean, very old people as well as very young. Prisoners of war are tortured, raped, and murdered. Many people actually consider this a Holocaust as well. December 7th, 1941, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, as we talked about. The Battle of Bataan, Japan did dominate the U.S., but the Battle of Midway 6 months later, the U.S. stopped Japanese further invasion of the United States. Island hopping is a technique that the U.S. used. U.S. takes Japanese islands one by one. August 1945, U.S. atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Japan surrenders and World War II is over. We'll talk about the home front in our next episode. Thanks for watching.